Definitely my worst fight was my first MMA fight with Zulu, which I was 19 years old with no previous MMA experience, only fights on the streets or training on the academy, but I never was no experience in MMA. And the guy was already 120 fights and 4 draws and 120 victories. He was just a monster and with a lot of experience. So, and when I start with this fight, I was really getting a new experience in my life, and right on the beginning of the fight, I could hit him with like a move with my knee on his face, and in my mind I thought, oh, I win the fight, but I'm totally wrong. He stood up, shook his hand, spit a tooth, and walked to me like nothing happened. I said, wow, was terrible. It doesn't work. So he coming to me, and for the next 9 minutes, because it was 10 minutes rounds, we going like crazy, and he throw me out of the ring. I come back and I go into his back, hit him, he pull his. So it was a crazy fight. And at the end of this first round, I was completely exhausted. And I crawled to my corner and said to my dad and my brother Hall, said, guys, I cannot go back there, I'm dead. And my dad even not listened to me. I said, Dad, I'm serious. Oh, you do good. I said, Dad, I'm serious. It's hard for me to go back there. I cannot. So as I start to explain my case, my brother threw me a bucket of ice and water in my head. And then, bang, they push me out. I'm ready again. And fortunately, was what my dad said to me. He was tired as me, and I could get a position he could not defend anymore, and I put him to sleep, and I win the fight with 3 minutes in the second round. So the worst thing for me was not the fight. The worst thing for me is how I decide to quit in my mind, because I felt I have no more chance. I thought I could not have more chances, and my mind was my worst enemy. And my dad proved me wrong. Thank God my dad, my brother was there to just make me feel like I'm just saying BS, just keep going. And finally, after this fight, I realized my worst enemy was in my mind, playing tricks on me. So that was my biggest lesson, was my worst nightmare on the mat, because when you stop believing, you lose track of everything around. So after that, I turn on the switch, which I prefer to die than quit. And never ever I have the doubt in my mind, I have to do 110% there. And if something happened which doesn't go with what I believe, it's just, I'm not gonna tap, I'm not gonna quit, I'm just prefer to surrender. So with that mindset, I continue my career with a lot of success, and but was not exactly the techniques applied, was more like the way I think about the tradition, my responsibilities with the family, and how the capacity I have to surrender to God, giving my soul, giving my body to represent what I believe at the time. So once the quitting aspect in my brain was dead, I become the happiest fighter in the universe.